Don't help me, they'll come back." Those were the first words that froze Daniel's blood the night he heard them echo through the forest. He had been walking home with his 8-year-old son, Noah, after a long day fixing fences on the outskirts of town. The path through the woods was quiet, except for the crunch of dry leaves beneath their boots and the chirping of crickets filling the air. Then came that voice, hoarse, trembling, desperate. Noah squeezed his father's hand tightly. "Dad, did you hear that?" Daniel stopped, scanning the trees. At first, he thought it was the wind playing tricks on them. But then it came again, faint yet sharp. "Please, don't help me. They'll come back." His heart began to pound. Every instinct told him to get Noah home. But something in that voice, something broken and terrified, made him stay. He told Noah to wait by the old fence post, the one they always used as a marker, and promised to be back in 5 minutes. His son's eyes were wide, but he nodded. Daniel took his flashlight and stepped into the darker part of the forest, guided only by the sound of strained breathing and the faint rustle of movement. Then he saw her, a woman, maybe in her early 30s, tied tightly against a tree, with thick ropes biting into her wrists and chest. Her white dress was dirt-stained, her blonde hair tangled, and her face streaked with tears. The fear in her eyes wasn't just from being trapped. It was something deeper, as if she knew danger was still close by. Daniel's breath caught. "I'm going to help you," he said softly, crouching beside her and fumbling with the knots. "No," she whispered, her voice trembling. "Please don't. They'll come back if they see you. Go, take your son and leave." Her words sent a chill down his spine. He glanced over his shoulder, scanning the shadows between the trees. There was nothing, no movement, no sound. Just that eerie stillness that didn't feel right. "I can't just leave you here," he insisted. "Who did this to you?" She closed her eyes as if fighting the memory. "You wouldn't believe me." Daniel's fingers worked faster, his heart thundering in his chest. "Try me." And just then, a distant branch snapped that he turned sharply, flashlight trembling in his hand. But there was only darkness beyond the trees. When he looked back, the woman's breathing had quickened, her eyes darting frantically as if expecting someone to appear any second. When the final knot came loose, she collapsed into his arms. Her body was weak, trembling from exhaustion. He helped her stand, draping his jacket over her shoulders. "Let's get you somewhere safe," he said. She hesitated, glancing around with haunted eyes. "If they find me gone, they'll come for you too." Daniel tightened his grip on her arm. "Then let them come." He led her through the forest back toward the path where Noah waited. The boy's face lit up with relief when he saw his father emerge, but the moment he noticed the woman, his smile faded into confusion. "Dad, who's she?" Daniel forced a calm tone. "Someone who needs help." The woman winced as if the word help itself carried pain. But she said nothing. They reached Daniel's small truck by the roadside, and he helped her climb inside. She didn't stop trembling until the forest disappeared behind them. That night, as rain tapped against the windows of their small farmhouse, Daniel offered her tea and a blanket. She sat silently by the fireplace, her eyes fixed on the flames. Noah had gone to bed after a long talk about being brave, but Daniel stayed up. He had questions, too many. "Who are you?" he asked finally. The woman looked up slowly, her expression unreadable. "My name's Claire." "Claire," he repeated. "Who tied you up in the woods?" Her lips parted as if to speak, but she stopped, struggling to find the right words. Finally, she whispered, "You'll think I'm insane." But they weren't thieves or kidnappers. They were people I trusted. Daniel frowned. "Family." She shook her head. "Co-workers. I work for a private research company. Something went wrong. They were experimenting on people, Daniel. On me." He stared at her, disbelief warring with concern. "Experimenting? What kind of company does that?" "The kind that buries its mistakes," she said bitterly. "And now they want to make sure no one ever finds out what they did." Daniel leaned back, the firelight flickering across his face. He didn't want to believe her, but the terror in her eyes was too real. "I can take you to the police," he said. "No," she said sharply, grabbing his hand. "You don't understand. They own the police here. If you go to them, you'll be putting your son in danger." That name, his son, made his blood run cold. He looked toward the hallway where Noah slept peacefully, then back at her. "What do they want from you?" he asked. She hesitated, then reached into her torn dress pocket and pulled out a small flash drive. It was scratched, almost broken, but intact. "This," she said softly, "everything they've done is on here. If they get it back, they'll erase everything, and everyone who knows about it." Daniel stared at the device in her hand, realizing his life had just changed in a single night. Before he could respond, headlights flashed through the window, cutting across the walls of his home that Claire's eyes widened in terror. "They found me." Daniel rushed to the window. A black SUV had stopped by the dirt road, its engine idling, no plates visible. "Get Noah," he whispered urgently. "We're leaving." Claire nodded, clutching the flash drive as if it were her last lifeline. Daniel grabbed his keys, his heart racing as he ran to Noah's room. "Buddy, wake up," he said softly, trying to sound calm. "We're going for a drive." The boy blinked sleepily, confused. "Now?" "Yeah, now. It's an adventure, remember?" By the time they reached the back door, they could hear footsteps outside, slow, deliberate, moving closer. Claire looked at him, fear burning behind her eyes. "You should have left me there." Daniel tightened his grip on her arm, voice low but steady. "I don't leave people behind." Hours later, after a narrow escape through back roads and abandoned dirt trails, Daniel's truck finally rolled to a stop near an old barn miles away from town. Claire sat silently, holding the flash drive close to her chest. "Tell me everything," he said. "No more secrets." She nodded, tears welling up. "I worked for a project that tested human adaptability, neurological manipulation. They called it Project Eden. They said it was about healing trauma, but it was about control. And when I found out, I ran." Daniel stared at her, the weight of her words sinking in. "And now they'll kill anyone who knows." She nodded slowly. He looked at Noah, asleep in the back seat, his small hands clutching his toy truck. Then he turned back to Claire. "Then we'll make sure the truth doesn't die," he said firmly. The night wind howled through the broken windows of the barn, but inside that silence, a new resolve took root. A single dad, a haunted woman, and a secret that could change everything. And as dawn crept over the horizon, Daniel knew this wasn't just about survival anymore, that it was about justice. And whatever came next, he was ready to face it, because sometimes the people who've already lost everything are the ones who refuse to give up.